We're going to show you how to use a program called Page Plus, which is a desktop publishing program. And while we do that, go through a few desktop publishing elements and principles that will help you improve your desktop publishing work. First thing I'm going to do is go through some of the tools you can use with Page Plus. Down the left hand side here, we've got text tools and drawing tools. On the right hand side of your screen, we've got different tabs. So you'll use the tabs you'll use the most, the color tab, where you've got two options with color. You can either change the fill color of a shape or the line color of a shape. Another one of the useful tabs here is the line tab, where you can control the thickness of a line. In this part of the screen, we've got these tabs, the layers, text styles, pages, and styles tabs. You'll use the styles tab the most. Within the styles tab, you've got this drop down menu. And in here, we've got lots of interesting options that you can use while you're designing your desktop published presentation. Okay, in this case, we're going to design a layout for a mug. But anytime you're doing any sort of desktop publishing work, you can use any of the styles in here to help make your work look better. Down in this area of the screen, the tab you'll use the most is called the Align tab. And we've got different options of alignment here. And each of these options are shown with a graphic. So where the line is, it's on the top, therefore it's top alignment. This line here is on the bottom, so it's bottom alignment. This is left alignment, right alignment, center horizontal alignment, and center vertical alignment. We'll use a lot more of them later on, but that's to give you a quick tour of the screen. Now that we've had a look at that, we're going to start working with Page Plus to create an exemplar mug layout, which you can follow along as we go, learning the techniques for when you come to produce your own. So you'll already have opened this introduction template file. So when you have that, you'll be able to see that we've got this white area, which is the exact same size as the mug layout dimensions, and it's come loaded up with a photograph. This is just a stock photograph. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to move images. So I'm going to select this photograph by left clicking on it, and then by holding the left mouse button down and then moving the mouse, I can drag it onto the white area, which is the layout size. To resize this photograph, I can drag it from the corner handles. I don't really want to drag it from the middle handles because then it loses its proportion and everything starts to get a little bit squashed. So the next thing I'm going to do with this photograph is to crop it. Now the crop tool is over on the left hand side here. It's this square with the line through it. So I'm going to select that, and this time I'm going to use the middle handles, because you can see that when I move this in, I'm not changing the size of the photograph as such. What I'm doing is getting rid of the sides of the photograph that I don't want to have in my layout. So you can do this at any point when you're producing your own mug layout in order to get rid of parts of an image that you may not need. Now you can also do this with normal shapes as well. Crop tools are a really useful tool to use. What we're going to do next is we're going to draw a rectangle. Now, as we've already discussed, the drawing tools are down the left hand side toolbar here. Now I can't actually see the rectangle tool at the minute because it's hiding behind this ellipse tool. So in order to see it, you need to move over to the shape tool here, click on the arrow beside it, and this will show you all the different types of preset shapes that you can create in Serif at any time. So I want to select the quick rectangle tool, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to draw the rectangle from this bottom corner here across the sheet. And what I'm going to show you now is how you can fill that rectangle with a colour and also get rid of the horrible black line, which is the outline of this rectangle. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this outline. And to do that, I move over to the Colour tab, and we already discussed that we've got a fill shape colour and a line shape colour option. So I'm going to select the line option, and I don't want to make the line white because that means I've still got a white line around it. I want to make the line transparent so that there is no line there at all. The transparent colour is this black and white checkered box. So if I click on that, you can see that's got rid of that black line entirely. Now I want to fill this rectangle with a colour. So I'm going to click on the fill button here, and I want to use the purple which is on this woman's top. Now to do that, I can click on this colour picker tool and then move this colour over until I can actually just select where it's got the purple top and select there. Now you'll see that that colour, that exact colour, has gone into this box here. So in order now to fill this rectangle, I've clicked on the fill tool and then click on this box here for the picked colour, and you see that's filled that rectangle with exactly that shade of purple that is on her top. What I want to do is I want to move this rectangle up toward the centre of this layout, like that. So as before, left click and hold the mouse and move the mouse upward. Now you can see here what's happened is that I've drawn this rectangle after moving this image in place. So now this rectangle is in front of that image. I don't want that. What I want to do is put that rectangle behind this image. That's easily done. I select the rectangle and move the mouse up to the top here. We've got these yellow and grey buttons. I've got four options. I can either send to back, go back one level, bring forward one level, or bring to the front. Now for this, I want to send this rectangle to the very back of the layout. So I'm going to click on this option, send to back. And you can see what that's done. It's reordered it. So now the image is on top of this rectangle. And what we've done here is by sending this rectangle to the very back of the layout and having the image in front of it, we're creating something called depth. Now depth is used where you want to bring one element of a layout forward. So the visual impact this has is that it means that the image looks like it's in front of it, so it looks like it's coming toward the viewer. So that's called depth. In addition to depth, what we've also got is we've got matching colours in this rectangle to the lady's shirt. By using matching colours through a layout, we call that unity. And unity is used to link the various elements of a desktop publishing presentation. Using depth and unity are really, really easy, really straightforward methods of creating a layout, but also very, very effective methods of bringing important parts of the layout forward and linking the various parts of a layout. I would encourage you to use them as much as possible, depth and unity, when you are creating your own mug layout. What we're now going to do is we're going to create a shape using the line tool. So over on the left hand side of the screen, we've got a line tool here, a straight line tool. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to start drawing the shape on the left hand side of this layout. So in the top corner, I'm going to come across. Now, I'm holding, to draw this line, I'm clicking and holding the left hand mouse button and moving the mouse. Now you can see that this will go at any angle here. If I hold down the shift key as I'm holding the left hand mouse button down, I can limit the angles to what this is going at. It goes in 15-degree segments. Okay, so I want to draw a horizontal line here. So I'm going to hold the shift key down while I'm drawing this line to make sure it's going across the page horizontally. And I'm going to bring this line to just about halfway. Now you can see if you look closely where my cursor is, I'm going to move the cursor away here, and I'm going to move the cursor right to the very end of that line to where the square is. Now you can see what happens is there's a plus sign appears beside the slope and line on the cursor. So I need to have the slope, the plus sign visible on my cursor, and now I'm going to draw another line from this spot. So again, we're drawing a line down to the bottom of the page, this time at a 30-degree angle. So again, I'm going to hold down the shift key when I'm drawing this. So I'm going to start by left clicking the mouse, keeping it held down, moving the mouse down, but holding down the shift key as I do it. So I'm drawing the shape here at 30 degrees. Okay, I'm going to draw it right to the very bottom of the page. and then I'm going to come along horizontally. So again, using the mouse over that, and I can see the plus sign beside the sloping line on the cursor. I'm going to draw another line horizontally across to the bottom corner, and another line joining this shape up. Okay, now you can see how that cursor now, once you get to this beginning point, has changed from a plus sign to a square. And what that means is now you've drawn a closed shape. And what a closed shape means is it starts at one place and then goes around the rest of the shape and finishes at the same point. Now what that allows us to do is to fill that shape with colour. So I'm now going to fill this shape with colour. Now I don't want to use the same colours before. I want to use this grey, which is on the back of this sofa. So I'm going to pick this grey colour using the colour picker tool, same as before. So I click on the colour picker tool and then click on this grey that's on the sofa. And you can see that the colour picker square has changed to that grey. So now with this shape selected, I'm going to select the fill tool and then select the colour picker colour. And then I'm going to select the line tool and get rid of that horrible black line around it all. And so I'm going to set that line colour to transparent. Okay, what I'm now going to do is show you how to just draw a straight line and change the thickness of that line. So to do that, I'm going to click on the line tool on the left hand side of the screen, and I'm going to start drawing this line from this grey area here and finish on this grey area here at the same angle as this. So I'm going to hold down the shift key as I do this to make sure I get the same angle, and it's going at that 30 degrees. I'm now going to make this line a bit thicker. So to do that, I'm going to select the line tab across on the right hand side of the screen, and I can make this line thicker either by sliding this slider along here, or I can select this drop down and I just pick a line thickness. I want to make this line the same colour as this purple box here. So I'm going to go back to the colour tab, select the colour picker tool, and then pick this purple colour. So I've put the colour picker, set that there. The line colours here, so I'm going to make sure that's selected and then click on the colour picker colour to set that there. Now, you'll notice that I asked you to draw that line from the grey area here to grey area here. Anything in this grey area will not be printed. Now you can view exactly what will be printed by clicking on the View tab and selecting Trimmed Mode at the very bottom. You can see what this does is this trims the image to show exactly what will be saved as the image file and then printed onto your mug. So if at any time you want to test that out, then feel free to do that. I'm going to turn that trimmed mode off at the minute again, just before we go to show you the next part. Okay, you'll notice that what we've done is we've created this grey shape, which is quite a dark colour, and then this purple line and purple shape, quite a light colour. This helps to balance this layout out, because we've got the image here which gives it a bit of weight on this side, and then this dark image gives it a lot of weight on this side. Also, you'll see there's quite a lot of contrast, so these colours are very different from each other. And this is called contrast, and we can use contrast to really grab people's attention to a desktop published layout really quickly and easily. Now, what we're now going to do is add some text to this layout. Now the text tool is this over here, this capital A. So I'm going to click on that tool and I'm going to click where I want to start writing, and then I'm going to start writing, and in this case I'm going to put in the words "my family." Now I can change the font of this, and I would encourage you to definitely change the font of this. I can change the font of it by highlighting the text. The font choices are up here, and you've got all the fonts that are in this. You've got all this to choose from. There's lots and lots and lots of fonts. Now a little tip for you, I'm going to come out with that here. I'm going to give you a little tip. I'm going to pan this view across the page. Now to pan the view, we're going to click and hold the middle mouse button. While we've got that clicked and held, move the mouse across the screen. Okay. Now I'm going to select and highlight all that text in the text box, and as I move down these options, you can see on the screen that you can see exactly what this text is going to change to. Okay, you can see it real time, which is a really handy little tip for you. So I'm going to choose a font that I think suitable for this. I'm going to choose this font here. You can choose any font you like for this at this stage. Just make sure that it's able to read. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to make this text size bigger by dragging the corner handles out. I'm then going to change the colour of this text to white. So I've got the text highlighted. I'm clicking on in the colour tab. I've got the A, and I've selected the white box here. It's set that text to white. Now what we've got here is something which we describe as reverse text, where we've got a light coloured font on top of a dark coloured background. When you're using a dark coloured background, you should always try and use reverse text. It's going to make your text stand out much more easily rather than if it was a dark colour. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to add 4 more pieces of text to the side here. So the 4 words this time will be mum, dad, brother and sister. So again, we'll do this together. You click on the A to add the text and click somewhere on the screen. I'm going to add this 4 separate areas. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change these all one by one. I'm going to change them all to have a fill colour of white, and I'm also going to choose a different font for them this time. I'm going to choose something slightly different. But this font here I'm going to change and make sure that it matches all 4. So you guys do the same. Change the colour of these and change the font, but make sure the font for these 4 words are the same. Right, now that I've done that, you can tell that this looks a little bit untidy as things stand. So what we're going to do this time is I'm going to just use something called alignment. Now alignment adds structure to your layout, and it's a really good thing to have alignment in your layout because it makes text like this easier to read. It can make following text to an image easier to follow. It will make your layout much easier to understand. We can add alignment really easily. The first thing I need to do is select all 4 of these pieces of text together. So I'm going to click on the first one, and then I'm going to press and hold the shift key on the keyboard. And then I'm going to select the next one, and the next one, and the last piece of text. So I've selected all these pieces of text while holding the shift key down. Now I'm going to let go of the shift key, and I'm going to go to the bottom left hand corner of the screen to this align tab, and I want to align all these to the left hand side. So I'm going to select left alignment, which is this one here. You can see that there's also a different level of spacing between each of these words, and I want to make sure that the spacing between each of these 4 words is identical. So while these are all selected, you move down to the bottom right hand corner here, and you've got this option here which says space evenly down. So I'm going to select that one. You can see that it's made the spacing now between each of these absolutely equal. I'm going to click somewhere else off the screen. You can see what's happened here. These are all now laid out left aligned and with the correct space in between. Now what I'm now going to do is draw a line from underneath each word right the way across to the purple line here. So again, I'm going to select the line tool, and I want this line to be horizontal, so I'm going to hold the shift key down as I do it. And it doesn't matter if I overlap this line. I'm going to have another one in here, another one in here, and another one here. And what I'm looking to do with each of these lines is I'm looking to make sure that each of these lines also are left aligned. So I'm going to select all of them together and left align them. And I also want to make sure the spacing between them is equal. So I'm going to click on the spacing equal button. Now, while we've got them all selected, I'm going to be able to change the colour of them all at the same time too. And I want the colour of these lines to match the same colour as this purple here. Now, I've already got that selected here from before. But if you don't have that, then click on the color picker tool and then click on the purple rectangle. So I want to change these line colors, so I need to make sure that while these are selected, I click on the line color option and then the color picker tool. Okay, so that now has given you these 4 lines with exactly the same color purple as this. Now what we've just done is we've used line to join these 4 words to the main part of the layout, which joins the 4 words to the image. Using line like this is a really effective way of helping a reader make a physical connection between one area of a layout to another area of a layout. At this stage of the process, I've decided that this image here isn't quite large enough to grab people's attention properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this image a bit larger at this stage. Now, by making this a bit larger, that's using a design principle called dominance. Now, dominance refers to the largest item on a page, which is going to grab people's attention or be noticed first. I do want this image to be noticed first, so this now is the most dominant item by being the largest. Making things large on your layout is a really, really effective way of making them noticed first. So make the most important part of your layout the largest, second most important part the second largest, and so on. I've also decided that this large image doesn't stand off the page as much as I would like it to. I don't feel as though the rectangle going behind this is giving it quite enough depth to bring it off the page. Therefore, I'm going to add more depth to it by adding something called a drop shadow. A drop shadow is a shadow you can add behind either a text or image or shape to make it appear as though it's coming off the page a bit more. There are 2 methods of adding a drop shadow. I'll show you both. First of all, we've got to select the image. One method of adding a drop shadow is to use this drop shadow tool down here in the bottom left hand of the toolbar. If I select that drop shadow tool, I've got these coloured dots appear on the screen. If I drag the black dot down, you can see how there's a shadow appearing around the image. I'm going to drag this around so you can see it. I can drag that shadow to anywhere I'd like to place it. And I'm going to drag the shadow down to the bottom right here. If I select the pointer tool in the top left hand corner to unselect that, you can see now that's added the shadow onto this, which makes it look as though this image is not just in front of the rectangle, but also coming off the page a bit. Now I'm also going to show you how a different method of adding a shadow. So I'm going to select the image again, and this time I'm going to go to the Styles tab across here. I'm going to select this little drop down here and make my way down to shadows. Now here there's a whole bunch of preset shadows that you can use. So any type of drop shadow that you'd like, there's some perspective, some inner shadows, and so on. You can select any of these that are useful to you. So I want a shadow going down to the right. You can still edit this shadow by going back to the shadow tool on the left hand side of the screen and dragging this a little bit further where you like. You can also edit the shadow at the top. We can play about with all these settings, so the colour of the shadow, the intensity of it, the opacity, and so on. We can change any of this to suit our project. So for example, if you were placing an image with a drop shadow on top of a dark background, you might want to change the shadow colour to white to make it more noticeable. Now when you're producing your own mug layout, you'll plan the layout first of all on paper and then try and create that layout using the desktop publishing software. You might decide that some parts of the layout need to be changed as you're working through it. I would encourage you to do that. You don't have to stick to the original plan at all. Part of the creative process of desktop publishing work is looking at what you've done, evaluating what you've done, and then changing it as you go. The last thing we're going to do with this now is I'm going to show you how to save your work. So to save your work, with the top left hand corner, we've got File, Save As. Now what you're looking to do first of all is click on this drop down arrow here and find your ANAH home drive. So you'll see a different option from what I'm doing on my computer, but when you click on this, search down all the drives here until you find the one that says ANAH, your name, and then home. Select that one, select your technical folder, and save this into your technical folder. You should call this file your name, so type your name in, and then DTP intro. When you've typed in the file name, click on save, and that will save this file for you. The very, very last thing that you'll need to do before we're able to print your mug design is you'll need to be able to know how to change your mug layout to a JPEG image. So I'm going to show you that now, and you can come back to this part of the video after you've finished your own mug layout. So to change this to an image file, what we do is go to File, we go to Export as Picture, we make sure that the format is a JPEG, and we'll also make sure that the DPI is 300. Once you've changed the DPI to be no less than 300, you can then click on the Export button. You'll have to save this. So again, save this into your technical folder. Make sure that the file name you give this matches the previous file name. So it will be your name, and then DTP intro. And then we click Save. And what that has done is it's created an image of your layout. Now, your image of the layout is going to be shared through Google Classroom to your teacher, who will download that image, print it, and then we'll make the mug using that exact image that you've sent to your teacher.